Hi, my name is Thomas, and today I'd like to show you the 1930s optical masterpiece that a guy named Ludwig Berthollet designed. So this lens, actually, it's a Russian lens. It's called Jupiter-9. This one is from 1987. You can see that on the numbers here. But it's a design from the 1930s. So what happened is a guy called Ludwig Berthollet. He was an optical genius. He invented, so to say, the formula for a very fast 85mm portrait lens, f2. That was unheard of in the early 1930s, and it became a huge success. Zeiss produced it. It was the premium brand back then, together with Leica. And after the Second World War, the Russians sort of took over the lens designs and also a lot of the manufacturing from Zeiss and transferred it to the Soviet Union. So this lens went into production in the early 1950s, and as Russians are, they never really changed it anymore. So the 87 is like a 1950s. Okay, this is a fully manual lens, of course, so I just use an M39 adapter. The nice thing is these rangefinder adapters, they're very short, so it's not like you have an adapter like this and then a lens on top of that. It feels like it's just a native lens almost. This lens doesn't have click stops, as you see, so it's maybe good for the film guys. Focus is down to 1.5 meters. As you see, it's a pretty long focus throw, but back in the day it was standard like that. The only thing, of course, it's missing are electric contacts, so you have to adjust for the focal length in your camera, so the IBIS works. And also when you want to focus, you always have to press the C1 button or whatever button it is on your body to zoom in for very good focus. As you might know or not know, I'm a sucker for funny bokeh, or I call it classic bokeh. And this lens is a prime example for that. So at f2, at open aperture, it delivers some swirls and also some harsh outlines. And you know, all these effects that people maybe don't like that are into very smooth bokeh. And once you stop down, the bokeh becomes a bit more neutral. Wide open is maybe not the sharpest lens of them all. It sharpens up very nicely at f2.8 or f4. For landscape shots and corner sharpness, you maybe want to step down to f8 or even f11. Nonetheless, it's a pretty astonishing performance for a 1932 release. The building behind me, Saturn Hochhaus, was erected in 1925, and back then it was the tallest building in Europe. Would you believe that? Which brings me to the lens again. The so-called Sonnar design from Ludwig Berthollet. He invented it in 1929, so same era. And calculations for the 85 he finished in 1933. He was working for Zeiss back then in Germany. Another very unique feature of this thing is there's a lot of reflections going on if you have the sun somewhere close to your frame. So you really need a very good sunshade to avoid that, or you use it as an effect for your photography, which can be very, very nice. You see these colored arcs that can go all over your image, or yeah, other weird effects going on. Just play with it a bit. A small change in perspective always brings a big change in these effects due to the way how the reflections work in the lens. One thing you have to look for is the adapter you're using. So I use a very cheap adapter. I like it because it matches the look of the lens, but the problem with this adapter is you can't focus to infinity. When I'm at infinity here, it's a hard stop. In reality, it means like 30 meters or so. So if I want a really sharp shot at infinity, I always have to stop down to at least 4 or 5.6. Keep that in mind when you select your adapter. Even more expensive ones can have the similar problems. You just have to find out. It's a bit trial and error. Hey, let's look for purple fringing, huh? It has a lot of aperture blades, but it still doesn't do great sun stars. So if you're looking for really good sun stars and stop-down apertures, then this lens maybe is not for you. When the Russians started producing all these Zeiss clone lenses, they gave them nice names. So this one, it's called Jupiter-9. There was also a Jupiter-3, a Jupiter-8, a Jupiter-13, and whatnot else. And the plant where they were produced, it's called KMZ, but I have to Google the Russian name. Krasnogorsky Zavod. I hope I got it somewhat right. Close to Moscow. The production started around 1950 and they were still made in the 1990s.